Okay, are we ready to start cooking?
Yes.
Pat? Okay.
Yes, we are ready.
Pat is my able sous chef, so we are going to jump in. The first thing we're going to do is we've got boiling water on the stove, and the potatoes are in.
And they just went in.
Okay, are you timing those or not?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Those are going to be ready shortly. And while the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to get started on the sauce. That bit's already done. Okay. So we need a bowl, and we need our chicken stock, and some of the other things that are going in there.
You want that over here?
Egg yolks. Yeah. So, all right. How much stock do we need? A half cup. Can you hand me the half cup measure?
Here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, there's 4 ounces of stock. Okay, you can take that back. Thank you very much. And into that, we're going to put 2 egg yolks. All right, and then we also need the cream and the white pepper. I'm not going to bother measuring the white pepper. I'm just going to heat it right in there. Okay, and you need a 1/4 cup of cream.
1/4 cup?
Yeah, you can actually hand me that same. Oh, there you go. Look at that. You're way ahead of me.
I tried all afternoon.
Yeah, Pat has been just amazing in getting all this set up and getting us ready for this. Okay, we're going to whisk all that together. When it's time to actually finish making the sauce, the egg yolks are what are going to help thicken that for us. It's almost going to be like a custard sauce. Okay. And now it is time to, okay, it's time to start cooking the pancetta. So I'm going to turn the stove on behind me, get that warmed up. And you can see we've got the pancetta, kind of shredded a little bit. So that's going to go into the skillet. Fish out a wooden spoon. Okay, we're just going to heat that and fry the pancetta till it's a little bit crispy and the fat has rendered. And then we are gradually going to whisk this mixture into the hot pan with the pancetta, and that's going to form our sauce. Now, it may seem strange that I'm making the sauce before we've even really started working on the pasta, but the fact is that gnocchi comes together really quickly. It cooks very quickly, and as soon as it comes out of the water from its cooking bath, it's going to be ready to eat right away. So it makes sense to have the sauce basically done before it comes out. How are we doing on the potatoes, Pat?
We've got 4 more minutes.
I'm totally excited. Great. Okay.
All right, so what do we got?
How are the time on our potatoes?
We're done.
Okay, let me do a quick test to see if the potatoes are soft. They should be at this point. Yes, they are perfect.
Okay.
Can you drain those for me?
Yes. Sure.
I'll turn the heat off. Okay, see if we can go back to the countertop, Ken. You got it. Okay, if you take a look there, you can see that the pancetta is nicely brown and a little bit crispy, and it's rendered all the fat out of it. Although we're going to leave that in because that's where a lot of the flavor is. Pancetta is basically Italian bacon. It's not usually smoked, which is why you could make this with American bacon, but it would not be quite the same thing. Okay, I've added the walnuts in. I'm going to give those just a really quick saute, just to crisp them up a little bit. And then we'll be ready to finish the sauce. Okay, I have not yet put the cheese in with the egg and cream and stock. So that will go in. Oh yeah. Okay. Out of the way. Okay, I can hear the walnuts starting to sizzle just a little bit. That's what we want. That is, you can put the potatoes in the pan without the water.
Yes.
Okay, and then, yeah, just put them in, and I'm gonna put them back on the stove real quick just to dry out a little bit. The burner is off, but there's still a little bit of heat. And so just a little bit of heat is really gonna dry those potatoes out, which will help the gnocchi dough be a little thicker and not quite as sticky. And if we can go back to the countertop cam, look at that. Oh, Steve, you are doing great over there.
Oh, what a guy.
Okay, now I'm gonna whisk this in, and I don't want it to go too fast because I don't want to make scrambled eggs. There we go. You can see the pan's still plenty hot. I am gonna put it back on the burner just to let it thicken. Actually, it's thickening up pretty well already. Yes, thank you, Pat. When I do my cooking videos for my YouTube channel, I'm not doing it live, and so there's really a lot less pressure if I know I can go back and edit something and redo it. So the pressure is definitely on tonight. I'm going to put that back on the heat and just give it a couple of whizzes around until it starts to thicken. That really smells amazing.
I can smell it over here, it's great.
Between the egg yolks and the quarter cup of Parmesan cheese that are in, this should get nice and thick. Take another look at our countertop pan. And you can see that is really thickened up very nicely.
You're making me hungry, Larry.
Yeah. Now, we didn't add any salt to this because the pancetta is already very salty. So, okay, that is done. The burner is off. I'm actually going to set that over to the side. And I will move this to the front burner. Okay, now it is time to start working on the potatoes. Okay, I'm going to need like a 3-cup measure, something like that, or a 1-cup measure I can use 3 times. Okay, so we started with basically 2 pounds of potatoes. We may not need all of those, but we'll see how far this gets us. In order to mash the potatoes, we have a wonderful tool called a potato ricer. Okay, and you can see it's got this system in the bottom with the little holes in it and a plunger, and it is just going to force the potatoes through there so they will be perfectly and evenly mashed. If you mash them with one of those handheld potato masher things, you never quite get everything. And if you use like an electric whisk kind of thing, the problem with that is that you can get really gummy potatoes out of that, and that is not what we want. So let us load these into our potato ricer. Okay. Yeah, let's slide that out of the way so we can see what's happening here. This is like the most exciting bit of technology in this whole meal. So, give those a squeeze. Oh, look at that. That is glorious. Oh, I'm liking that a lot. That is beautiful. How did you ever live without one of these?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's the first time ever, though. This is great.
You've never had one before.
Your Thanksgiving is going to have the best mashed potatoes ever this year.
Right.
All right. Okay, I'm going to call that 3 cups. What do you think?
No,
That's half.
no, it's not.
A little more? Okay.
Yeah, it's not quite.
Come on.
I don't think.
Actually, this bowl does have a 4-cup measuring line on it, and we're not quite up to it. A little bit more will be good. Wow. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
That looks terrific.
Yeah, and those are just perfectly uniform.
They are.
You know, those are going to be just the best mashed potatoes ever. Okay, now at this point we need our beaten eggs. Oh, you're so good. That's beautiful. Okay. So the eggs will go in. All right, thank you. I'm going to give this just a little bit of salt and pepper. Can I have the salt shaker? Thank you, ma'am. Okay. And look, another wooden spoon. This is a very well-equipped kitchen, I gotta say.
Many years of accumulation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at how smoothly that comes together. Look at that.
Ooh, that looks great.
Yeah, so the
Wow.
eggs just fold in there. One of the funny things about Italian food is that Italians have all sorts of unspoken rules about food. And in the city of Rome, and I suspect elsewhere in Italy as well, one of the rules is you can only order gnocchi in the restaurants on Thursdays. Thursday is gnocchi day. They don't have it any other time. Okay, that is mostly mixed together. So what I'm going to do now is turn it out onto the countertop and give it a couple of quick.
We have a question. Are we supposed to be using all of the flour when you originally mixed it in the bowl?
Yes, it all went in. Now I'm going to just knead it a little bit to make sure it's nice and smooth. A little bit elastic. And it's okay to flour it as you are working on it. That's all part of the process. It shouldn't be particularly sticky, but neither is it really, really elastic. It should feel really light. Okay, now I'm going to divide it into 2 pieces and work on them one at a time. And the idea is now to roll it into basically a rope.
Or snake.
Or a snake. Thank you, Steve. Yes, it could be a snake. You never know. It could be a snake. And we're looking at about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. The basic question is, how big a piece do you want to put in your mouth all at once? Okay. That looks about right. Okay, now comes the really fun part. We're going to cut that into kind of square-ish pieces.
Like a 1-inch piece.
Yeah, they're about 1 inch, maybe a little bit less. And then each of those pieces, I'm going to take a fork and get it centered in my picture here. And I'm just going to kind of roll it across. And that gives us sort of a shell shape. Where's my camera? There we go.
Oh, that's really
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So we just roll it, and that's that nice shell shape.
Wow, that is so cool.
Okay, and as these roll, we're just putting them on a flat rimmed baking sheet that's got a piece of parchment paper on it to make the cleanup a little bit easier.
Amen to that.
Okay, now, the fact is, as long as you got a fork, there are other ways you can roll this dough as well. If you put the fork tines down, you can kind of roll it across the tines and get the ridges on the outside. And that is also legit.
That is so cool.
I still kind of like it the other way myself.
That is
It
it.
looks cool.
Okay, here's our tray of the finished pasta ready to go in. Now, this is kind of a lot at once, so I'm actually going to boil this in 2 batches.
Here you go, Chef.
Oh, thank you, Beth. Oh, that's what was missing.
There you go.
And you don't want to overcook them because eventually they will disintegrate.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So it's not like pasta, where you could cook it and it gets kind of yippy.
it's mushy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the first batch. Now the second batch is going to go in. Thank you, Beth.
Yep.
One of the ways you can tell that your gnocchi is almost done is it will float. If they're not all floating, they're not done yet. Okay, you can see this is basically how it looks when it's done. You have that nice rich sauce on the outside, and the gnocchi are really soft and pillowy. That's exactly what we're aiming for. Second batch is done. Turn the whole stove off.
Okay, so we're gonna finish our meal with a fresh salad, and I made tiramisu this weekend.
Yay!
So that's what we're gonna have with our meal tonight.
It's gonna be a unique tiramisu.
It's going to be perfect.
It'll be different. Wow.
Okay, got a quick toss.
So Father already asked us to do a little bit, grating more Parmesan cheese for when we're eating. So you might want to think about that as well.
Okay, Pat, I would like you to sample this and tell me what you think.
Oh, that's so good.
You like it?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that a winner? Oh, good.
Yeah, that is a winner. Yay.
All right. Okay, that's it. That's kind of all I have. I hope that you are moving towards completion of your dinner.